Time to see what the wizards are up to.
Hey, everybody.
Hey everyone, we're so excited to be here with you. I hope you like the new intro Ori created for us with the Kapow heroes and villains. We're going to kick off the call with Rob going into a little bit more detail about Kapow. I know some of you have played it at conventions, but not everyone's had the chance. So I want to share a little bit about that. And then in one of the first conventions we showed Kapow at was Spiel last year in Essen, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we plan to do this year at Spiel Essen, and then we'll share some high alert spoilers because people have really been liking those. I know some of you come specifically for that. So, Rob?
Yeah, so Kapow is a superhero versus supervillain dice-powered game. It's designed by some awesome game designers from New England who we met up with at the Boston Festival of Indie Games, and the game is fast and fun and feels a lot like Star Realms when you play it, not because the mechanics are similar, but because the overall feel of, okay, you've got this two-player battle, fast-paced, you're building up your power for later in the game, and also making attacks and trying to bring your opponent's score down, and balancing the investment in the long term versus the short term beatdown, trying to figure out your strategy on the fly. We are coming to Kickstarter with Kapow at end of this month. We're going to be doing a reprint of Volume 1 with some tweaks. We've made some little component improvements, done some game balance tweaking, but we also have Kapow Volume 2, which will contain 6 new heroes and 6 new villains. So in the Kapow box set, you get all the dice you need, you get the player boards, and you get 3 heroes and 3 villains in each of the sets. So much like Star Realms, if you combine 2 sets together, you get a lot of additional content. So you have, with the 2 sets together, you'll have 6 heroes, 6 villains, and you'll be able to play 2, 3, or 4 players with it. So you can get Volume 1 on its own, Volume 2 on its own, or combine them together. We'll show you the updated player board. I believe we showed this on a previous stream, but it's pretty cool. We've added some art to the background, tweaked the mechanics slightly on these, and basically you'll notice there's little icons on there and an effect listed after it. When you roll your dice, you just simply place the dice on the board to activate a power. So if you wanted to activate something that had a fist in any die, you'd simply put one of your dice that had a fist icon on it that you rolled on there, and any other die you wanted on the other one, and that would activate that particular attack. So you can do that. So it's very, very easy to play. Once you've played through a turn, people just get it immediately. We've got a bunch of dice that come with the game. There are there's the colorful sort of pre-done, those are trait dice, and then there's the black dice, which are action dice, and you'll notice there's these little squares that those get applied directly to the dice. So you take the little faces, and you can put them right on the die and customize the die how you like. So the action dice are key to some of the more powerful effects in the game. Some of those require action dice. And you can also customize your action dice as you're playing, and you literally just put the side directly onto the die. So
I don't know why it's loading.
We got a slow motion load.
It's supposed to be a high resolution photo of my hand.
So as you can see with the action dice, you take that face and you put it directly on there. So when you want to customize your die during the game, you can buy faces is one of the things you can do when you power up, and you can customize that die and get it to perform exactly how you want. Another component we've upgraded from the original Kapow is the scoreboard. So basically, much like Star Realms, you have health for your hero, and we have added score dials. These are just like the ones that are in the Star Realms Deluxe Nova collection. So we really like that layout. So we've made hero and villain score dials. And these are the ones from the base set Kapow, which have the original cast of heroes and villains. And of course, there'll be ones from the Volume 2, which will have the new heroes and the new villains on there. And so this is the easy way to keep track of your health during the game.
Nice.
Yeah, they're pretty
a little
sweet.
Tiny cube, and you'd move.
Yeah, and they, like the original game had a little board with cubes on it, which definitely worked. But these are just a little bit sweeter. And I'm gonna give you a sneak preview of one of the new heroes in Volume 2. So this is Spore. Spore has really cool growth powers. So he really uses that blue face. That's the X factor, which allows is key to some of your acquiring new dice and such during the game. So Spore has the power of basically unlimited growth, so unlike other heroes, Spore can go above his starting health, and he has an ability which gives him more health. He has the ability to gain action dice and faces at the same time. And he has an incredibly powerful attack kicker that he can power up to in the late game. So playing Spore, you tend to heal and grow and build up and try and get to the point where you can do this massive final attack to finish off your opponent. And each of the heroes has a nemesis that they frequently play against, and Spore's nemesis is a supervillain called 235, which we have some cool artwork in the works for. So we should hopefully we'll have some spoilers for that for you in the next week or two.
Can you do a quick 20-second? What game are you talking about for the people who joined late?
Sure. So this is Kapow. Kapow is a superhero versus supervillain dice buildable dice game, and it's fast, it's fun, and when you play, you roll your dice. You can assign dice to your player board on either attacks, defense, or attack, defense, or power-ups. Attacks let you deal damage to your opponent's defense, prevents damage your opponent's doing, but also frequently gives you faces to add to your those customizable action dice.
And you're doing this board simultaneously with your opponent with the screen, so they can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, so it makes it very fast. Basically, both of you roll dice at the same time, and you place them secretly on your board, determining what you want to do for that round, and then you both simultaneously reveal and show what you're doing and resolve the attacks, the defenses, and the power-ups. It's really fast, really fun. It's been phenomenal at conventions. We had the original version of Kapow when we acquired the game from the guys at Two Tongue Porcupine. We brought it to conventions, demoed it there at Spiel, at PAX Unplugged, and
PAX East as well.
Yeah, PAX East, and basically before convention shut down.
Every copy we
sold every copy we brought to sold every copy we brought to the shows. It was like, no, hold some back for press. But yeah, people loved it. It's super fun, and it's coming to Kickstarter at the end of this month. So that's some of the new stuff we've got coming for Kapow. Game's really awesome, super fun. If you enjoy the types of games we make, like Star Realms and Hero Realms and such, you're gonna really like Kapow. Super fast, super fun, really great game.
So I want to talk about a few things. So about Spiel Digital. Well, actually, let me just check the comments really quick to make sure we didn't have any questions. We had some good feedback. Dice remind me of the dice from the Lego board game. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, well, it's good we're covering this because, oh yeah, I love this comment. Debbie looking like the Lord of Winterfell.
Yeah, she's looking good.
Have to make up for it. Seeing the picture of my nails, I was like, oh, that's because nail services are not an essential service in this household right now. So I have to like get a nice coat, but I can't get my nails done. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Spiel Digital show. So many of you know who follow us that every October we go, well, Rob and I take our one vacation of the year without our 7 children to Amsterdam for a few days. And then we go to Essen, Germany, on our way to Essen, Germany for the Spiel convention. Spiel is play in German, and it's an awesome convention. It's massive. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest board game convention in the world. And it's also not just, it's every type of game. So from heavy gaming to lots of children's toys and games as well. So it's incredible. And it also has a lot more just entertainment and food options and things at the show. So we really miss it, but they're doing a digital show. They're doing a great job getting organized with their digital show. So we've been preparing for that. So one thing that I'm excited about is we are going to be demoing our games at this digital convention, which we haven't done before. So Kapow, which we've just been talking about, we're in the final stages of testing, but Kapow is on Tabletop Simulator. It's being worked on Tabletop Simulator. So we'll be doing demos of Kapow on Tabletop Simulator. If you're interested in doing demos for us, because you already know Kapow, send me a message because we're putting together the demo or schedule of people doing demos. But if you're interested in seeing demos, we will be doing demos at Spiel at our digital booth. So I'm not sure the details of exactly how everything's going to work, but suffice it to say that we'll have Discord channels where you'll be popping in and getting demos of the games. You can contact us in our Discord channel, our own Discord channel. Maybe Katie can drop the link to our Discord channel. So if you have trouble navigating Spiel Digital and you want to see some of the things I'm talking about here, pop into our Discord channel. You can ask us questions there as well, because we're generally like very active on Discord. During digital conventions. We're kind of finding our way around Discord. Some of us were already very active on Discord. Others, not so much. Our kids were joking this morning how powerful they feel because adults have to learn all these technologies that they're just so good at already, like Discord and, online stuff. So I think we're pretty good technically, but, and we're doing a lot of new stuff. So we'll be demoing Kapow, we'll be demoing Sorcerer, which we also have in the works on Tabletop Simulator. Looks beautiful on Tabletop Simulator. Working through some details on that, but we'll be demoing Sorcerer. We'll also be making these games available so that you can play your friends with these games as well. So if you want to play each other, once one of you knows how to play the game, that will be available as well. And, this may or may not come as a surprise that we are also putting Hero Realms up online. That is going to be going up on Tabletopia. We already have it up there as a workshop, and we're just, again, doing some of the final touches on that. And if all goes well, we are actually working on putting together a Legend series for Hero Realms to add to the Legend series for Star Realms at Spiel Digital. So the Star Realms Legend series right now is planned for Saturday at Spiel Digital. And there is a registration page now. Maybe Katie could drop the link in here in the comments for that. We don't yet have one for Hero Realms. Like I said, we're working through the final stages of Tabletopia. And if we can, work through that and get it ready in the next few days, we'll be posting more details about a Legend series for Hero Realms. And if for whatever reason we're not able to get that up for Spiel Digital, we can run one between Spiel Digital and the end of the year, because we would love to run one for Hero Realms as well. We know there's a lot of fans for Hero Realms. Obviously a lot of people love Star Realms as well, but because we have the Star Realms app, we've been able to run more digital tournaments for Star Realms, and we really wanted to. This doesn't mean we're not working on the Hero Realms app, by the way. And it'll be the base game and character packs on Tabletopia. But the reason why we chose Tabletopia is, well, first of all, Tabletopia can't do all of the things, for example, that we needed for Kapow, and that's why Kapow is on Tabletop Simulator, but Tabletopia is completely free to get on there and to play a game if we choose to make it free. So we want everyone to be able to play Hero Realms and play with their friends. So that was our thinking on that. But we are still moving forward on the Hero Realms app. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Rob.
Well, the team's been hard at work. Still very buggy, so not ready for prime time. But we've been making improvements every week. And we'll have some more Hero Realms spoilers in an upcoming episode of our weekly podcast here. But yeah, the team is working hard on the Hero Realms Digital. Obviously, for these for the Legend Series tournaments, it's great to be able to do it in the app with Star Realms. That's that's wonderful. The Tabletopia version will be more you're playing yourself with these digital assets, so I imagine it'll be a little it'll be a little clunkier, but it will but it'll be fun to be able to get some Hero Realms games in. Digitally.
It is a sandbox environment, and what I mean by that is basically you're on looks like a digital table. You see your Hero Realms hand in front of you. You have your market deck all set up when you go into the game. But you actually move your card and then you change your score depending on what's happening.
So it doesn't handle any of the rules of the game. Basically, if you wanted to take your card and throw it off the side of the table, it would fly off the side of the table. Like, it's basically a little physics simulator with objects. And so basically, you would play as you would play in person, where you put your card on the table and you say the things you're doing, and you grab a card. But if you grabbed a card that cost more than the gold you had, your opponent would have to say, "Hey, you didn't have enough gold for that," and you'd be like, "Oh, whoops, sorry," and put it back. So it's not like the Star Realms app where it's an app that runs it. It's just a sandbox where you can play, but it's nice to be able to play.
Yeah. So as Jeff says, just like in real life,
yeah,
it's like you're playing with physical cards, but you're on a digital tabletop. And one thing with that makes it different in the tournament as well is, and this is why we need to work through and practice and see how it's going to run before we can commit. And the timeline's really short. So we're still seeing if we can put something together for Spiel Digital, but we'll have to have judges available that can pop in. If someone says, "Hey, this guy did this thing," and, or this person did this thing, and I don't think it's right, we need that ability because it's not built into the app itself. So we'll see. Is the Hero Realms market deck so big it's going to crash the servers? I don't think so. And again, it'll be the base game and the character packs. I'm super excited. So, we'll, as soon as we can, we'll share information so that people can get on and play around with it, with all three of those games. And there's a different person working on each one, so they're being worked on in parallel. So
I saw a question pop up about an ETA for Star Realms High Alert. So basically, we've been in a holding pattern for a little while because the factories in China have been closed for the holiday. So a while back, we got all the files into them, and we were waiting for them to get it into their printing schedule and tell us, okay, it'll be done at the factory at this time. There's been no news for a little while because the factory's literally been closed and the people have been on vacation. So we are awaiting word from the factory. Everything's in. As soon as we have the date from them, we will pass along to you guys. I know you guys have waited a long time for it, and I really appreciate it. But as soon as we have the date, we will pass that along.
Let me just go back here because we actually have a bunch of, I think, starting here. Okay, so the first question I want to address here is the Star Realms late back. So actually, I just got a message before I popped on here in Slack that, "Hey, Debbie, the late backer thing has still not gone out." So just found that out. I actually thought it had gone out. So I will follow up after this call to figure out what the issue is with that. We just had some issues with a mismatch in the data, and I thought it was all resolved and that it had gone out, but I will follow up. It should be out So I hope that I can get that out today or tomorrow for you all.
And don't worry, this is not going to delay at all when you get your product. You'll be able to go into the pledge manager and do all your stuff. And, we'll be printing to the demand that, is through everybody's order. So, you're going to get the stuff at the same time as everybody else, just taking a little bit longer to get your data into the pledge manager.
And Rick would like to know, will you be doing a Kickstarter? Will we be doing a Kickstarter for the Hero Realms app when we get closer to releasing the Hero Realms app? I was just asking Rob that this morning.
Yeah. So my current plan is to do something similar to what we did with Epic Digital, where we have when we have the app to the point where it's ready for a larger alpha/beta test group, that we do a Kickstarter that gives basically access immediately when the Kickstarter ends, and but that's access to our testing build. So everybody who joins the Kickstarter, you'll get cool cookies when the full version of the game comes out. Kickstarter exclusive avatars, cool. Some value in the game itself. But you'll also have access for the year or 6 months or however long we're working on the alpha version, beta version, getting it ready to push the full version out to the public. You'll be in there and you'll be playing, but you'll also be giving us feedback and telling us, basically help us get the game to where you as players want it to be. And basically Kickstarter is a great way for us to get that group of highly motivated people, and also to properly communicate to them that, hey, you guys are going to be testing this sort of raw version, so things will crash, and when we'll fix them, and you'll let us know what's good, what's working well, what's not working. But yeah, we'll be doing a Kickstarter for that, and you totally don't have to do the Kickstarter if you just want to wait and get the polished version when it's done. Absolutely no problem. But if you want to jump in early and help us get the app to where you want it to be and get a bunch of cool rewards, that'll be a possibility as well. That Kickstarter will probably looking at early 2021. We need to get the app a little bit further along before we are ready for your feedback. Right now, we're finding plenty of things to fix all on our own. And but yeah, when we're like, okay, this is pretty good, then we'll make that available. And then with hundreds or thousands of you guys kicking the tires, I'm sure we'll find lots of more things to fix and improve, etc.
Yeah. All right, this is an unusual request. We might be able to make this wish come true. Is Rise of the Empire Kickstarter happening this year? Matt is hoping it's delayed because Kickstarter is so stacked. I was just talking with someone who was saying how many Kickstarters are coming out this month. There is a lot. I mean, I think it's one thing that's good is people aren't shopping as much in person. So there is I think a demand for more online things, but
so we've got a lot of really, really awesome projects in the pipeline. So obviously, next thing up to bat is Kapow, but the Star Realms Rise of Empire is coming soon. We've got really great stuff for Hero Realms. We've got the digital app, but also physical stuff for Hero Realms, which we'll talk about on a future episode, and other games as well. So we're going to be moving forward with these, but it's likely it will take us till for Star Realms, it may be end of this year, it may be early next year for the Rise of Empire. But I will tell you that is so fun. So you guys are gonna love it. I can't wait to get it. I can't wait to show the stuff off on the
And
on the
maybe we
Kickstarter.
can at least do more spoilers this year of Rise.
Oh
of
yeah,
Empire.
that
give people a little
but yeah, it's
insight into it.
yeah, we're super excited about the Rise of Empire set. But yeah, it's so Matt, I
Quick
think
comment
likely,
on what it is for people that
oh,
are watching. That
Star Realms
haven't heard
Rise of
about it.
Empire. We've talked about it a few times, but what it is it's a legacy Star Realms set. It tells the story of the Star Empire's rebellion from the Trade Federation. So this is pre-Blob invasion. So there's no Blob, there's no Machine Cult. And this set has all new factions. So basically, one player plays the Star Empire, one player plays the Trade Federation. The market deck is made up of the neighboring governments to the Star Empire. So you've got the consortium and the kingdom and the scavengers. There's these various groups that are around the Star Empire, and and when you're buying cards from the market, it represents you convincing, if you're the Star Empire player, convincing that particular ship captain or base commander that they want to join the rebellion against the Trade Federation, throw off the colonial power. And if you're the Trade Federation, you're buying those cards, you're convincing them to stay loyal and to join the fight. But in addition to buying cards normally, you have the ability to permanently convert that card to part of the Trade Federation or the Star Empire by paying extra trade. You will then add stickers to the card, which make it a dual faction card, give it special abilities that give it extra special abilities that go along with the Trade Federation or the Star Empire, respectively. And then that affects future games that you play with the set. There's a storyline. There's some nice balance factors. So if one player is getting ahead with a bunch of additional wins, they get some cool things happening in the story. But there are some balance factors that come in to help the player who's behind. And then it goes through this entire storyline, and you're modifying the cards in the deck as you go. And then when you're done, you will end up with a set that you can play over and over and over again. So you can play through the storyline, but then you end up with a customized set at the end of it. Super fun. Just really phenomenal set. And there's, as always, really, really fantastic artwork and such. So yeah, we'll have a lot of cool stuff to show you guys as we move along with that. That wasn't too quick. Sorry.
I should never ask him to talk about what he said. It's always a long thing. So Jeff made this comment about an online tournament. Someone threw their deck across the room. So I'm just going to say, do not click the flip the table button when you're playing. It actually destroys the game. But one thing that we did figure out on tabletop simulators is the back button. So when I first set up Sorcerer, trying it out, I got it all set up. It took me a while to figure out how to use tabletop simulator, and then I clicked the wrong thing and I
accidentally flipped the table.
Ended my game. It wasn't flip the table.
No,
that's a huge flip the table button. But I did something. I used the person I was playing, I won't mention any names, suggested I use command keys, or maybe it was one of my kids, but recommended I use some of the command keys, and whatever I did, it ended the game. But now I figured out there is a back button in tabletop simulators. I think what we'll probably do is do a live stream where we show playing the games on both Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia and cover some tips and tricks. It might not be me because I don't consider myself an expert yet, but maybe we have the people who have been working on putting the games up there. But I think doing a demo, because I know not everyone has played on Tabletop Simulator, not everyone has played on Tabletopia, or they might still be learning, and just walk you through okay, how do you play these games? The nice thing is the games are all set up when you get in there, so it's just more things like how do you roll a dice, and how do you roll a dice without rolling it off the table, because I've done that now too. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, so we, like Jeff saying, it is like it is in real life, so you don't want to destroy a deck or anything in the middle of a game. Let's see what other questions we have here. Okay. Do we ever do, this is one
Yeah.
you can answer, Rob. Do you ever do expansions that, don't need Kickstarter?
Oh yeah. So yeah, there's been
Or if
plenty
you don't like
of
Kickstarter, how do you get our
There's
games?
your local game stores will have our stuff. We have a Shopify store where you can just go in and buy items. We definitely have some sets that just come, just go straight to release, straight to retail. But Kickstarter has given our company a lot of support through the Kickstarter community has given our company a lot of support through the years. We actually got started with kickstarting a game putting a game out on Kickstarter, and it really brings in a ton of resources. The money that people pledge allows us to hire artists and graphic designers, and basically all the stuff that goes in. Believe me, I made a bunch of games before Kickstarter and after Kickstarter, and I can tell you the resources that Kickstarter brings to bear allows us to make much nicer games for everybody. So if you don't want to get the games on Kickstarter, no problem. You can buy them in your store, or wait for them to come out. Avoid the whole waiting on the product issue, but know that the people who are backing the Kickstarters are helping you get a much nicer final product in the end. So it's good for everybody. We do have some Kickstarter exclusive content that are in the Kickstarters, but eventually we reprint those with new artwork, like the promo pack 1 cards were in Star Realms were originally part of a Kickstarter, but with new art they come out eventually. So down the road you'll be able to get that get all that content.
Thank you. And for those who are interested in backing Kickstarter, since our Epic Jungle and Star Realms Hyrule is delayed, someone asked if it's possible to reopen the Pledge Manager and add more extras to it. So I would say generally, no, we're not going to reopen the Pledge Manager because there's a whole thing that goes along with that. But an individual could email support, if there's like, oh, I really want to add this one item. As long as we're fine on inventory on that item, we could, still add something. And we haven't locked and sent the final data to our fulfillment partners. We don't do that until that's why you can still change your address up until we'll let you know, like a few weeks before we start fulfillment. Yeah. We'll say, hey, you need to finalize. If you have any changes to your address, we lock it, we send the data. But we do use the data for inventory planning. So we've reprinted various products are being reprinted right now for things that we need and things like that. So there might be items that, we can't add. So generally we discourage it.
Yeah.
But, if you really have an issue and you really need something, especially if you're in a region where you can't get our products locally, you can send an email to support.
Because you watch the stream, you're in the know and you know the trick is the email support. But yeah, we won't reopen the whole Pledge Manager because that could end up causing a big can of worms where, oh, we need more of this product than we have available. Now we have to do another print run. Now everybody's stuff is delayed. But for the small items that, for people who are following this broadcast, is pretty easy to add those in.
Will you be releasing any other games or experiences for Hero Realms or Star Realms to flesh them out as worlds? I'm not sure Rob's ready to talk about this.
Well, that is a very cool idea. I like that idea. That's well, we will put that into consideration.
And where are we on Cat Realms?
This is Debbie. Debbie is project lead on Cat Realms. So yeah.
All right. If you're really interested in seeing a game called Cat Realms, like that comment, or just add a comment like "Yay Cat Realms" or "Meow" or something, so we can get a feel of it. If there really was a strong interest, it's something it's for those who are like, "What's this Cat Realms?" It's a game I was interested in, but I'm not the lead of game design. But if that's something that sounds, we have toyed with, should we do sort of like a fun, silly game with the Realms engine, like cat themed or similar, unicorns, whatever. So if that seems like something that you think would be fun, let us know, because it's not in the short-term horizon, but would be pretty easy for us to create. But the actual production of a game and, marketing and selling and such is pretty complicated. So we are always prioritizing things. Let's see, UK games. Are there any UK game stores that want to stock your games? So shipping costs is getting expensive. So there are UK game stores that stock our games, and any UK game stores can get our games. Asmodee UK is our distributor in the UK. So if your local game store, does not carry our games, it's highly likely that they have an account with Asmodee UK and that they could order our games through them. So
and they do order a lot of products. Sometimes they ship, they'll pick stuff up at the factory in China, etc. Yes. So like you should be able to get pretty much any of the items. Obviously, sometimes individual things sell out, and we don't have as many distributors in the UK as we do in the US. So like in the US, if like Alliance is out, maybe ACD or GTS or one of the other distributors has it. But yeah, we basically let your game store know that you want it. They can order it from the Asdevium, the Asmodee UK guys, and then you can and if they don't have it, they can order it from us.
Yeah, and if you still have trouble, send me an email, Debbie@whitewizardgames.com, and I'll see if I can actually tell me what part of the UK you're in, and I could ask Asmodee, our friends at Asmodee, do they have recommendations of stores in your area that would be carrying our products? And then I think there's also online stores, like I think Games Quest has an online store, but there should be online stores as well that carry our stuff. Will Hero Realms be available in German? Well, it was available in German for Germans who are in the know. So Hero Realms and the character packs and Rune of Thandar were published by Blackfire, our partner, in German. And I guess the short story is that, or the long story is, they are now part of Asmodee. So they're focused on distribution, not publishing. So they're no longer publishing our games, not because there's still a huge demand for our game. So we've actually, we're working with them to work on.
Yeah, they've ordered from us.
Yeah. They're like, everything's sold out. Oh, but, can you make the games in German now? Just because they, as part of becoming part of Asmodee, their business model morphed. And so basically, we've been working on taking that in-house. And I guess you're hearing it here, but that's one of our announcements at Spiel Digital, that we will be taking pre-orders for Hero Realms in German. So we are working on printing them in German. We're working with the same printer that printed the products that were published by Blackfire. So they will match if you say, for example, you have the base game, but you want to get the character packs, for example. And initially it'll be the base game and character packs, but we'll be working on, the follow-on releases. We'll be working on catching up, because basically the German product line was behind. So we'll be working on doing, new expansions as well. Yeah.
So we've got German translations of a lot of stuff already done, and we're working on more, and, it's coming. Sorry for the supply hiccup, but yeah, we've got it in the works.
I see a meow. Uh-oh, woof, woof. Oh, no. Well, we do like dogs, too. Sorry, let me just come back up, because we got a bunch of comments here. UK stores. Okay, I'm not sure what this is about, so we'll have to look into this. Something about the app has a different logo than Gambit, the Gambit printed products. So there's Gambits and Cosmic Gambits. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I'll take that as an action. I thought we were using the same logos in the physical products as we're using in the digital apps. But just in case you aren't aware, you probably are. You sound pretty knowledgeable if you're asking about the Gambits. There's Gambits, and then there's Cosmic Gambits, which have different packaging. But I'll take that and look. I'm not familiar with that issue. Serial Killer Realms is suggested by our own Peter Schultz, who makes our horror games. Sorcerer, shocker. Dragons. Dragon heavy game. I like that suggestion from Brian Games. I do like that suggestion. We love dragons. We have a gigantic how tall? 10 feet tall dragon on our lawn right now for the Halloween season. He has flames inside of his belly. All the neighborhood kids come by to see. Okay, submissions. So I'm assuming this means game submissions. So we do take submissions. You know, we do have some games that have been designed by outside designers that we have signed. How long is the process? I would say our process right now is pretty slow because everything's been delayed, and you know, we had a lot of disruption over the summer months from our normal schedule and how we do our work for a lot of different reasons. So I would say right now it's really delayed. If you've sent in a submission, you haven't heard back, then I would recommend send me an email and I can check on that for you. It's Debbie@whitewizardgames.com. We don't have a super formal submission process. So I would like to add something to our website so it's a little more formal. We have, you know, spreadsheet and things like that. But right now, normally most of our submissions, we meet with people at conventions and we look at games there, and that way someone can show us their game in person. But now conventions aren't happening. So we've done some submission meetings online. We've done a few like events where we look at game submissions, but I would say, you know, that's a possibility. So if you have submissions that you want to share with us, you can email me. We can schedule time to do online meetings for that. I'll say that we do get quite a few submissions that are like, I have a deck building game that's a lot like Star Realms with like a few differences. And I'll say that those, like, we're pretty good at making deck building games. That's our flagship product. So we tend to be more interested in the product. Not that we wouldn't consider and look at a deck building game, but we tend to be more interested in other types of games. I don't know if you want to comment at all, but basically to just like a short comment is like Star Realms, something that's easy to learn how to play, but can also go deep in strategy. So that was, for example, like why we really liked Kapow. It was really quick to learn, also had deep strategy, super fun, super relatively quick, not a super heavy game.
Yeah. So
if you want to add
to
to that.
just real quick on the submissions, when COVID happened, we had to shut down our offices, move it basically through our review process in the loop, and it was already fairly slow because we're game designers. We make a lot of our own games, and so that it's while we do look at outside games, it's very rare that we pick something up and go with it. We have to really fall in love with it. So if you do submit something to us, basically don't send us anything that you need an immediate answer on, and basically, we're a little backlogged on it right now. I'll apologize to anybody who has sent in submissions that we haven't had a chance to review yet. But yeah, it's the this year really threw us for a loop in that particular area. Let's see. I see a question of why are the number of character lineage and domain decks not even for Sorcerer? So basically, the primary answer to that is it takes different amounts of work on our team's part to make the different styles of decks. So the lineage decks, those are the ones with which have a whole new mechanic to them, a new style of Magic. Those are a ton of work. Peter works very hard on those. And the characters and the domains are a little bit easier. But the biggest answer is there are plenty out there between the with the all the Kickstarter exclusives we had, and the from the base game, and all the new stuff in the Endbringer set. There are so many different combinations. We've got lots and lots of lineages, and yes, there are more characters and more domains, but there are a lot of lineages for you to play with. And the adding an additional character deck, or it creates new combinations that you can do with the new character deck and existing lineages and domains, etc. Same thing with any of them. So the number of possible combos just goes up and up and up as we add more of these in. So we have more characters and more domains because they're they're faster to create, so than the lineages, but we basically give you plenty of them of each of them to play around with, but the additional you have some additional characters and domains in there.
Great. There was a question specifically about submissions on Realms games. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, so basically, so obviously Realms is a property we own. It's our engine, our license. So I, generally speaking, I would avoid, if you want to do a submission, I would avoid the submissions of, hey, your engine that you've created, I have a cool idea how to tweak that.
Realms.
Yeah, because basically Realm, that's our gig. We'll basically, so I would suggest having if you have something, a game, if you have an idea that you're really passionate about, you want to pursue with us or with anybody else, just create something from scratch and get it to where you love it. And then once you're like, oh my gosh, this is the funnest thing ever, and my friends are begging me to play it all the time, then show it to us, show us to other publishers, or maybe self-publish. You can you could also go the print yourself route if you have a large amount of money that you would like to see go away. So but anyway, like that's I just wanted to comment on that because that was one of the submissions, the person that asked the question. So that just in general, we aren't looking for outside submissions on variations of the Realms games because we're very familiar with the engine, so we can do those. And there's a good chance that the ideas that you've got for tweaks or whatever is something that we've already got in our backlog of stuff that we've designed that we're looking to put out. So that can get really awkward where it's like, no, well, we're making this thing that looks like the thing that you submitted, but but we actually already had it. It was in our thing. So basically, it's one of the reasons why we're not really interested in looking at at modifications to the Realms engine, because we've got a lot of tweaks and little things that we're doing internally on this.
That's probably my bad though, because I haven't gotten back to everyone who has submitted to me. So
yeah, our apologies on that.
So Scott, thanks. It's great to hear that you like Epic Card Game. Brett asks about, so we partner with Double Exposure. They have heralds who basically love games and are out there doing a lot of demos at retail stores, not as much right now, but they're doing things like helping us with the demos for the digital conventions and things like that. It's actually heralds that are working on 2 out of the 3 online the tabletop simulator games that I was talking about, Sorcerer and Kapow, getting those up. So Brett was asking for people that demoed Sorcerer last year. They haven't gotten their thing. So I was not aware that you have not got your thing. So I will talk to the folks at Double Exposure and get that list. I know they just recently sent me a list for a Frontiers event we did, which I don't know if that happened before or after the Sorcerer one. And I know I submitted that to be shipped out, but I will check with them on the Sorcerer one. If that wasn't in that spreadsheet, I'll get it from them, because I apologize. I was not aware that we still needed to send things out. So
thank you for demoing. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm personally handling that. The person who was handling that isn't with us anymore. So I will be looking into that personally. Let's see if we have any other questions. If you could go back in time, would you prevent the first person from adding pineapple to pizza? No, I like pineapple on pizza.
Actually, Debbie did go back in time, and she is the first person who added pineapple to pizza. So
yeah, I do really like pineapple on pizza. Sorry, everybody who hates it. Let me just see if we've answered it. This is your last chance if you have questions. Will the next Kickstarter for Star Realms have new command decks? Dean asked that question.
The next Kickstarter for Star Realms will not have new legendary commanders. It's going to be the Rise of Empire that I talked about a little earlier in this episode. So yeah, no new command decks in that one.
And then a question about Star Realms in German. So now that we have, translators in place, we're learning the nuances of printing in Germany, because there's, some different regulations and things like that. Yes, we do plan to also reprint the Star Realms expansions, and we'll look at if I don't remember off the top of my head where our German partner was in the timeline, but typically we will go back and we'll go back and reprint anything that's, I guess, I don't know if everything's out of stock or what the situation is, but we will look at Star Realms once we get through those are very high demand for Hero Realms. We started with that, but we'll look at the Star Realms line as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So our goal will be to have all Star Realms and all Hero Realms products available in German. It's going to take us a little while to get there, but we are working.
Yeah. Oh, we're doing the boss decks also in German, and we are partnering with our partner. So like I said, even though they still have a huge demand from their customer base for our products in German. So anything that's already been translated, well, in the past would be pretty easy for us to reprint now that we have the printer and the translators and such. So we'll start with the ones that have already been printed. Wow, where's some syrup on it? Syrup on everything is good. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Okay, I think those are all of our questions. I'm sorry if there's been a lot, so I've been trying to make sure we've covered them. If anyone has one that I missed, just drop it back in here, but I'm just going to look really quick. That's your last chance to, and I do expect that, over the next couple of weeks, like I said, we'll have more online events where we're demoing how to play the different games in Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia if you want to try them out. And mention once again that digital Spiel is the weekend of October 21st. And on that Saturday, we'll have a Star Realms Legend Series. I did mention it earlier, but for anyone that doesn't know, if you win that tournament, you become a card in the game,
Super
which
cool.
means we create art based on your likeness that becomes a card in the game. And also we have, these super sweet prizes, which if you click on the link that was posted earlier, it will show you what those prizes are. Oh, shoot. I forgot the high alert spoilers. Sorry.
No, don't worry.
Rob.
I got you back.
No one even brought it up. Shoot. Rob's like, hey, what about that thing over there? Because okay, let me go find these in here. All right. So I think I had the first couple. So this first one is Pack Searcher Sheldon. So this is actually based on someone's likeness, like I was just talking about, which is Sue Sheldon. She's a friend of mine, and she's also been very, very active in the community. Huge Star Realms fan. She's part of the Dice Tower Network. She and Mandy Hutchinson do a lot of content together. And in particular, they do one specifically on apps. So they do coverage, and she's been doing coverage on digital apps for a long time. So this is a cool new card, dual faction card. And, I think she looks awesome because I just love all things blob. And then there's another card, which is similar, dual faction one cost card, Dr. Clark. And this is based on Sam Clark. He actually was a Kickstarter backer. So in some of our Kickstarters, we have a higher tier for people who really, really want to be on a card. This is something that you can, choose to do as well. And if, obviously, like we mentioned, there's the tournaments and you can win a tournament, but we also have this as another option. And he looks pretty badass too. Yeah. I mean, I think the artists do an awesome job in making people look super cool. So I'm not on a Star Realms card yet. I guess I need to back a high level Kickstarter.
Yeah, so
talk to someone at the company.
Those dual faction heroes, by the way, are super cool. When you acquire them, triggers allies from it basically counts as playing a card of their two factions. And also when you scrap them, it counts as playing a card of their two factions. So really powerful with double ally, because you can acquire it and scrap it in the same turn, giving you basically two instances. So you can get double ally abilities triggered that way. And some, as you know from playing Star Realms, some of those ally abilities are super, super powerful. And if you know for sure you're going to be able to trigger the ally ability, that can be a really big deal. So you can buy that hero and then just hang on to it until the point in the game where you really need to get that ally ability fired off. So those guys give you a lot of control when playing the game. I think we also had a ship.
Yes.
Yes. So freight hauler. So this obviously gives you a ton of trade. Great for building up to those super powerful 8 cost cards, or even the 9 cost Colossus. But this card gets a lot of times trade cards are not good for you in the late game, because you get to the point where, okay, I can purchase this big thing, but I don't know if I'll live long enough to, or my opponent will live long enough that I can actually use the thing I'm buying. But with Freight Hauler, you've got the ally ability giving you a significant amount of combat, and then that double ally ability that lets you acquire cards directly to hand. So if you have a strong enough Trade Federation deck, this card is a beast in the late game. Gives you just incredibly powerful combat plus direct acquisition. Can be game changing. So so obviously great early for the build up. And if you're a mixed faction, it's not going to work out so well for you. But if your deck's really heavy Trade Federation, this card can get really, really powerful. So it's one of those where the double ally ability really shines. So and a classic example of a card where those heroes can come in really, really handy, because going from from the ally ability here up to the double ally can be hugely powerful.
Oh, I just clicked on something. Sorry. So that's everything we have. Let me just get out of this card.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's it. Yeah, it's all good.
So that's it.
Thank you,
we
guys.
went longer than we expected, so we're gonna have to stop being so chatty. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.